I wanted to cover one more topic
Yeah,
during
let's
this
bring that up.
is our yeah. Let's bring that up. So I know if you've heard last week, Sam Altman has been in the news a lot. One of them has been he's looking for $5 to $7 trillion investment to completely change the architecture of chips and all that. I don't have a lot of information into it. It sounds like it's very grand scale idea. He's talking to investors in UAE. Let's see where
Right,
we'll follow the story. But the other big thing is how OpenAI is moving towards agents, right? So this
right.
is from Abacus.ai. They have their own Abacus AI agent. We've covered this a multiple times in our conversation. Is about where's the future headed. AI agents make a lot of sense. So now there's a lot more progress being made. OpenAI is making a conscious effort to release their AI agent right now, and I can see where there's value for this agent being created. But something he said also, there's a lot of people on the other side saying this is not a good idea. We're not quite ready for it because this agent technically takes over your device, at least the OpenAI version of it, at least where they are right now. Your keystrokes, your so it's basically almost mimicking activities like you would. Let's say I want to go book a plane ticket. No, it needs to open a site, put in your requirements. When it comes up, you make a decision and then buy the ticket. So all that happens through the interface interaction. So now the agent takes over. You give it a set of prompts to say, this is what I want. If you see it in this price, buy it. So it takes over and does it. So great. That sounds like magic. That one less thing for me to do. That is where that's the side I sit on. But on the other side, which is equally important to look at the feedback is so okay. So what are you saying is unlimited risk that somebody can take over my device. There's no privacy. What kind of output will come up with this? What the use case I said was simple buying a plane ticket. But what if something went wrong and it bought a first class ticket? Yes, it's refundable. So you some things can go back. What if it gets worse? If you are writing code in this case, what I'm talking about, or doing other things, or you doing it for an enterprise, and all it takes is one small mistake to mess a lot of things up, or does it now open a lot of security vulnerability holes for people to use that to tap into your network? So I think the approach to it with caution makes a lot of sense, but you can't stop progress too. So I think this is all going to come together in the next few months or a few years because we're not quite there yet for agent. But as we talk more about the intelligence becoming more of a commodity, the LLMs becoming a commodity. Now, models are being so fine tuned for very specific use cases. I know bringing them all together makes the most sense as far as where the apps or the actual use cases are headed. So I feel like agents is inevitable, but how do you stop it from making some of the mistakes we're concerned about? So that's really where my head is. So I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we think about agents, I think in my mind, I think two different tiers, right? One is your personal agents or agents you are creating out of your own personality, or it behaves like you and does things like you. On the other side, where enterprises are, it's a kind of a vertical or a utility based agent, right? It doesn't have to resemble you. It just needs to take orders and get the job done with something you give it, right? In this case, maybe you give it a credit card, you give it something, and you have to be able to trust it with it. And that's where the issue comes in both cases. I think the trust and privacy issues are very serious, right? But I think the starting point very well could be on the cloud, where instead of doing like, for example, you take a workflow, right? You create an agent for that workflow. It is not personal, but it knows some smart things to do to get the job done, and hence it calls itself AI agent, right? That type of thing, it's okay. I think I'm personally okay because I'm giving very limited information for it to deal with to get me the information I want, as opposed to I'm more scared about this personal AI that has more of me and the exposure thereby, and all those security issues are scary, right? So I think both sides have to mature for actual to get productive.
I agree, but but I think like I'm really excited about this opportunity. I mean, this particular field becoming more mature, right? So what I mean by that is um, maybe just because I'm lazy, I want to just give instructions to somebody and let them do it.
But you need to be able to
We've
trust them,
talked about
right?
this.
You need to be able to trust them. That's the
Yeah.
bigger problem.
But most of our improvement with any technology has been from a improvement from your output, right? So what I mean by that is if you have right now we have a labor shortage in some of the very core like teachers. We have labor shortage in some of the um, I'll call it the it's still I won't call it the blue collar, it's still white collar, but we don't have enough people to think about things, right? So if you think about that layer, how do we fill that is we can import people, we can export the job, or we can use technology to fill the gap. And I feel like that's what the agents will fill in.
Gotcha.
Again, you
That
won't.
makes
I don't see
sense.
it being 100% agent anytime soon, but I can see it human in the loop where it gets you 80%. Just like we're using Chat GPT, you never start with a blank page ever again, right?